we've just seen Avengers Infinity War, so there's going to be massive spoilers in this recording.
Yes. Yeah. Do not listen if you haven't already seen the film.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this special one-off recording. Catherine and I saw Avengers Infinity War a couple of days, so we thought we would do an across the MCU verse to discuss it. Catherine, do you want to give me your thoughts? What did you think of Avengers Infinity War?
Overall, really, really enjoyed it. I think the pace was good throughout. There were no moments of me getting a bit bored, and equally, I don't recall there being moments where I was just like, oh, too fighty.
Yeah.
So it was good. I think I was a bit taken aback by ending. Because I thought it was going to be a complete story, but it was very much a part one.
Yes.
So that was probably my biggest initial negative feeling was, but I was told this wasn't a part one, but it clearly is a part one.
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
They changed the name, so this wasn't part one, part two. I would have rather they said this was part one, part two. Agreed.
Because as it was, then it ended, and I was a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
From that ending, I have an expectation it's going to be undone. A lot of what's going to be undone. The theories I had that were going to come have generally not proven to happen, so I think there was a lot still to come in that second film.
Yeah.
But the fact they've killed... Some of them I can completely get. Doctor Strange, fine. A one-off Doctor Strange film, and then he dies in this film. I could have accepted that. Groot dying, Gamora dying. A lot of this I would have. Now, I'm going to record a thing here and say, we've just seen Avengers Infinity War, so there's going to be massive spoilers in this recording.
Yes. Yeah. Do not listen if you haven't already seen the film.
And I'm going to have copied this section and put it back at the beginning, so I've realised if anyone's listening to this, like... Hey, it's just going to be a review. This is not a review.
This is
actual
spoiler-tastic.
thoughts.
Yeah.
No, there were people who died who I would have gone, oh, that's fine. But Black Panther and Spider-Man are getting their own films.
No,
so
it would be ridiculous for them to have killed those two characters off in a permanent way.
Yeah.
Because those are two big money-spinning franchises.
Yeah. And in some ways, it's almost the people who survived that tell me there's going to be a lot changing in that next film, because the people who survived are the people I expected to die. In Captain America and Iron Man, those characters particularly, I do not expect to make it out of this next film.
Those characters don't have any more legs.
No.
You know, they've pretty much told their character arc.
Yeah, and over a decade, those actors have been playing them as incredibly well. I think they are absolutely perfect for it, but at some point it'll be too much.
Yeah.
So good to get out while the time is right.
Yeah. I up to now have not actually been a big fan of Captain America.
Okay.
I know that's not a popular opinion, but it is mine. I found him a little bit bland, a little bit vanilla. I like the sort of world-weary, slightly renegade, but still trying to do good things Captain America in this film.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it was less of a I do what's right against all odds. At least with Superman, he's learning how to be a human and how to use his powers in a human way, as it were.
Yeah.
Captain America is just, I'm going to stand up to the biggest bully in the room every time.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that second Captain America film worked so well, because it wasn't just about him stopping a threat. It was a political thriller in and of itself. Okay. Are there any particulars of the film you wanted to talk about?
I think it's funny because obviously I think probably what my memory clings to, it might not be what your memory clings to. Probably quite small moments. I thought the characterization of Thor when he was with the Guardians versus the characterization of Thor when he was back with the Avengers and people he knew, or in the company of people he knew. I thought that was quite interesting because he was an arse when he was with the Guardians.
Yeah,
he was like very. I mean, but he was very egocentric and quite dismissive of them.
Yeah.
And he was basically a bit of a rude arse.
Yeah. Very much did not see them as equals.
No,
which
exactly.
Is perhaps right. When he's in space, he knows he is he is Odin's son.
Yes. Yeah. But then once he was on his mission, like his interaction with Giant Peter Dinklage. Amazing. And like once he was on a mission and he started to accept the point of the people that were around him, he became the Thor that I know and love. But
yes,
but I was just like, this is really interesting because he is a tosspot.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the Guardians in particular, and then Thor by extension, were used really well. You mentioned the pacing.
Yeah.
And I'd completely agree. It was exceptionally well done for a film that we could have gotten over the fighting very quickly because it starts with such strong action, that piece in New York. So the fact that they then went to space and had stuff with the Guardians and then even Gamora going off, it was all quieter, more emotive stuff or even comedic stuff that then took us back into the action elsewhere. It was used very, very nicely. Yeah. Thinking about what the Guardians did, though, my big criticism is this fetish that Marvel has for making its heroes fight each other. Because randomly the Guardians show up and start fighting Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like step one of any kind of interaction with a stranger is to fight with them.
Yeah.
Really? That's not how I get by my daily life.
But this is what Marvel do in their films. They just, what can we do to have our heroes fighting each other? Because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
I could live without that.
Agreed.
And that's probably the one moment that I was like, okay, Marvel have to do this in every film, and then we'll move on.
I enjoyed Sulky Teenage Groot breaking his arm off to make Thor's hammer. That was quite fun.
That was very good. And that gave you a real feeling of Groot getting back into the Groot we knew from that first Guardians film.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's fun what they're doing with Groot. I didn't entirely love what they did with Chris Pratt's character.
No. Very one-dimensional almost, and then the way he goes at Thanos, that is not the Chris Pratt who was smart enough to distract Lee Pace at the end of Guardians with a dance-off.
No, exactly.
And I don't think I've ever felt the chemistry between him and Gamora outside of that first film.
No, me either. It's just a little. To me, it strikes me as a romance of convenience. Hey, I'm a humanoid-shaped person. You are also a humanoid-shaped person. Of the opposite sex. There is no one else that fits that bucket here.
Yeah.
So let's be in love together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Meh.
Outside of that, are there any other pairings that you quite enjoyed? People who came together that you were either looking forward to or not in romantic pairings?
No, I enjoy the continuing interplay between Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I quite like that relationship. I liked it better in this film than I did in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I like the Spider-Man character. I really like Peter Parker.
Okay.
I really like that actor playing Peter Parker.
Yeah. So. I was a little disappointed almost that it was all about him being Spider-Man and nothing about him being Peter Parker. Because he was largely used for a bit of comic relief and action fodder. Whereas he's supposed to be super smart and coming up with different ideas and having a different worldview from everyone. I would have liked to have seen more of that, but this was a very congested film anyway, so...
I was about to say, I think that probably rings true for almost all of the characters.
Okay.
There was, in fact... Who was Peter Parker talking to when he introduced himself?
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Dr. Strange. Yeah. And he was like, oh, we're using our made-up names. It's like, well, actually, for the vast majority of this film, they all were using their made-up names.
Yeah.
There wasn't time to have very much personal time. I mean, the exception being Scarlet Witch and Paul Bettany Robot.
And Vision and, Gamora and
Thanos.
And Thanos and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, I have already erased the Gamora and Chris Pratt scenes.
Right.
But I remember Gamora's interactions with Thanos.
Yeah. I think actually Thanos was treated best in this film.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't justify what he was doing, but you could see where he's coming from. We've talked in the past about villains we enjoy who are doing the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Yes. He's
kind of going down that path. I mean, it's a ridiculous idea, but you sort of see it.
It's treating... I hesitate to say humanity, because obviously it's not just humans, but it is treating the populace of all of these planets like the deer in Richmond Park that get culled each year.
Yeah.
It's basically exercising a cull for the ongoing well-being of the population.
Yeah.
And it's a very... it's a very, very arrogant way of viewing things, and a very It shows no care and regard for the individual.
No, absolutely.
It's treating the populace of every planet like beasts.
Yeah,
basically.
But I really did feel that he cared about Gamora in a way that I didn't think was coming.
Yes.
From sort of the way we'd seen in the other Guardians films. But I actually bought it when we got there to that moment, and I could see what it meant.
Yeah.
And that, yes, he was doing this thing despite his love for her.
Yeah.
So it sort of worked. And even at the end, setting it up that he was retiring, went to a farm and smiling and happy because he'd done the thing he wanted to do. They've almost made it his story, that he comes out of it with having achieved his hero's journey. In fact, I wonder if you could map Thanos to the hero's journey.
Do you know what they haven't done?
Go on.
They didn't tell... What has become of the children of Thanos? All those weird, creepy magician dudes?
Well, they all died, I think.
Like every single one?
I'm seeing a lot of disappointment because apparently they're really good in the comics.
Okay.
But as ever, villains are not treated well in the MCU. Villains, by and large, are pretty weak. Thanos and Loki and Vulture aside.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, well, where does it go from now? Is part of it that actually the people that were following him around and who also seem quite powerful, are they a bit knocked that he's gone off and retired on a farm and actually they'd rather be running around wreaking devastation? Or did they share the same vision as him? I don't know. It's all very...
Yeah, is there now a power vacuum?
Yes. Yeah.
But, I mean, part of the thing with the film is he was always going to get all the stones.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could set it up that there is this gauntlet that can take the stones and do powerful things and then not deliver on that promise.
I agree.
And I don't think I quite expected it to finish in the way it finished, but I expected at some point he would do that and then maybe they get the gauntlet off him or find another way to stop him, or there would turn out to be another super powerful creature.
I think they had to either show a vision, maybe a Doctor Strange,
meddling
twisty
time,
hand, look into the future thing, but they'd have to show a vision of what would happen if he got the gauntlet filled, or do what they did, which was let him actually do it. I wasn't expecting him to actually get everything and kill half the populace of every planet. I could have lived without the fannying around with Vision's brain surgery.
Yeah, that feels like perhaps 15 minutes we could have lost, but at some point I think they would have said, no, we need something a bit more emotive in here, and we need to deal with the fact that people do care about Vision and this is potentially killing the character, which I don't know it is, but it is potentially. So we do have to add something to that.
Do you think people care about Vision? I don't care about Vision.
Yeah, I think a lot of people care about... I can't remember the actress's name.
Mary Jane Olsen?
Mary Jane Olsen.
Or is it Mary Kate?
Miss Olsen.
Mary someone Olsen.
I think people particularly care about her character.
Right.
And then he is then part of her story.
I think they have kind of broken her character. Well, not broken it, but written it badly. How's that?
Go on.
She's like mega powerful, right? So why does she spend all her time going, oh, woe is me?
Yeah.
And my mega powerful skills. Like, why have... I don't know.
Yeah, and even her conversion to the good side to become an Avengers is a bit easy in that last Avengers film. She suddenly realises Ultron is evil, and then she works with Stark even though she hates him. It's
just, I don't know. I felt they could give her a bit more oomph.
Yeah.
Now, maybe, growing up in a dungeon and
but it's a character we don't know, and outside of these few things that we've seen, so I can understand there is probably more to her that people like.
Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange was treated very well. I think he actually got a lot of good, and we saw the depth of him as a character who, no, I won't sacrifice it, and then, I mean, him sacrificing the Time Stone and allowing everything to happen that happened, everything that happened to happen, I think I assumed he was doing that for a purpose, knowing that there is only one thing they could do to stop all this happening. So I'm quite kind of pleased and expected that he was not going to make it through, because from that point on, I don't trust anything he does. He is manipulating events to get to that point, but he is a logical character. He's not an emotional driven character. Yeah,
and I think that by the end of the next film, or towards the end of the next film, when everything has been brought back to normality and he has reformed, he'll be like,
Yeah, explaining the points that he's linked together through doing that thing.
He'll do a bit of a Sherlock Strange.
Yes.
With his smug Cumberbatch face.
Yeah. But I think they gave him some good stuff to do, and I think he delivered.
I agree.
And the other person I would put in that camp is Robert Downey Jr., who was given a lot to do.
Which makes me think he is dead by the end of part 2.
Yeah.
Or at least properly retired.
I think it's going to be he ends up wielding the Infinity Gauntlet so he can undo everything, but it destroys him and perhaps even erases him from time. Something like that.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange is technically sacrificing him to get to this point, but the amount of time they've given Robert Downey Jr. and the amount of range they gave him, the sarcasm with Pepper, the sarcasm with Chris Pratt, the sort of teaching of Peter Parker and all of this stuff, they gave him a good amount. And he's one of the draws to the MCU. So
he is, and this was definitely a good film for him. I quite liked the cocky, arrogant, intelligent, macho male interplay between him and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
They were never going to play nicely together.
No.
So.
And then the ego thing with him and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
In the same way, but different. Very nice.
Exactly.
Another disappointment. We only got a little bit of Wakanda and the Black Panther cast.
Agree.
Again, hoping that will come to a lot more. Although Black Panther himself is gone. So...
He is not gone. He is not gone. Come on, let's get ourselves into the boardroom of the MCU executive suite.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, hey, look, we just made this amazingly successful film set around a superhero based in Wakanda, and now we're going to kill him.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I mean, I'd take it if Shuri became the Black Panther.
Me too. But still, they're not going to do it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what happens with Captain Marvel. Now, I think, because I don't know enough about that character to know how she's going to come into it, but clearly she is going to be a big part of whatever happens 1 year later.
Yeah, and she's got a film of her own out first, right?
Yeah, I think she's February.
Okay.
And hers is set in the 90s.
Okay.
So this will be setting up what she can do and not explaining the interim time why she's not been around.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Excellent.
Good. I kind of want to see Infinity War again.
I do too. And actually digest it, because there was so much going on.
Yeah.
That I feel like I've just, like, when we went to Rome, I feel like we've gone into the Sistine Chapel, glanced at the ceiling, and gone, oh, isn't that good?
Yep.
And that's it, without actually getting a chance to digest it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we shall see it again, and we will look forward to, this time next year, Avengers Infinity War Part 2, clearly.
Yeah, indeed.
Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to everyone soon.
Thanks, guys.